An illustration of the four facets of God's love. In a small, close-knit village, there lived a man named David. David was known for his kindness and generosity, and he attributed these qualities to his deep faith in God. He often gathered with his fellow villagers to discuss and reflect on the teachings of the Bible. One sunny morning, as the villagers gathered by a peaceful river, they began to discuss the concept of God's love. David shared his insights, emphasizing the multifaceted nature of God's love, drawing from the scriptures they held dear. Relational. David spoke about the personal relationship he felt with God. He recounted moments when he had felt God's presence in the stillness of the forest, just as in the Psalms, where David proclaimed, "The Lord is my shepherd." It was a reminder of the intimate connection between God and humanity. Outpouring. He mentioned the boundless and overflowing nature of God's love, quoting Romans chapter 5 verse 5, "God's love has been poured into our hearts through the Holy Spirit." David described how this love had transformed him, enabling him to share kindness and compassion with others. Motivational. David's life had been deeply influenced by 1 John chapter 4 verse 19, "We love because he first loved us." He shared personal stories of how the love of God had motivated him to help those in need, to forgive when wronged, and to always strive for the betterment of his community. Model. Reflective. David explained that God's love was a model for how they should love one another. He reminded them of passages like Ephesians chapter 5 verses 1 to 2, which urged believers to be imitators of God, as beloved children. His life was a reflection of 1 Corinthians chapter 13, the love chapter, where love was described as patient, kind, and selfless. As the villagers listened to David's words, they began to see how these four facets of God's love were intricately intertwined in his own life. His personal relationship with God had led to an outpouring of love, which, in turn, motivated him to be a model of love for his community. Inspired by David's words and his embodiment of God's love, the villagers decided to come together and create a community that exemplified these principles. They would nurture personal relationships with God, allow His love to overflow into their hearts, motivate one another to acts of love and kindness, and be models of selfless love for all to see. Over time, their village flourished, not just in material wealth, but in the richness of their relationships, the depth of their compassion, and the strength of their unity. They had learned from David that the four facets of God's love were not just abstract concepts but powerful guiding principles that could transform their lives and their community. God is love, is manifested in four ways. 1. God's love is a deep bond of relationship. 2. It overflows and cannot be confined or restricted. 3. It is driven by a compelling urge to be actively demonstrated and expressed. 4. It serves as a mirror, reflecting true love,